2022. We're back on the webinars.
Yeah, jumping in.
New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. We're so excited to be here. We have some fresh statistics for you, some new topics we'll be covering. Super excited to chat with Deborah about it and get her insight and kind of see how we start this new year, hopefully a little different than the last. All right. So first of all, a little bit about Deborah. Deborah's genius is creating a clear vision for CEOs and their teams, making that vision a reality. With decades of C-level executive and team coaching experience, Deborah challenges her leaders by inviting them to create a collaborative, vibrant, responsible, and joy-filled culture, which fosters highly desirable results. Her practice is shared in a diverse range of industries, from high-tech, wealth management, engineering, healthcare, marketing, and more. Deborah specializes in awakening leaders to transform their upper limiting beliefs, sabotaging behaviors, and unconscious biases, moving them into sustainable excellence and self-awareness. We love that abundant life.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
All right.
We don't hear that much, do we?
No, I know. So I wanted to start. I have some new information that I really wanted to share with you here. Let me just pull it up. Let me find it. So CBS News just came out with a really interesting article, and I think there was even a 60 Minutes on it in the last couple of weeks. Basically, they've kind of come out and said, people have been living to work for a really long time. And Deborah, you talk a lot about that, how we're just kind of programmed to just day in and day out, mundane, living through, just going through the motions, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. And what they're saying is, obviously the pandemic brought a lot of self-reflection for everybody. Now that we're in our third year of this, so it's like, I can't even believe we're still here, but everyone's kind of asking themselves now, what do I want to do? What makes my heart sing? What fills my cup? People are thinking, if I don't make changes now, if not now, then when? So I think, articles are saying a lot of the decision for these resignations is people are having these like awakenings, right? Like what does my life mean? What is my purpose? And that's where you come in.
Yes,
So
I love it.
Talk to us a little bit about that, and kind of, obviously this is a lot of what people are thinking and feeling right now, and quitting their jobs because they want more, they want something different.
Yeah. So this is a loaded conversation. It's totally. I think the most beautiful and most important decision, thought, question, focus that all of us can be having. And I don't want to shit on people, but it's my desire that people really take a look and a listen to their hearts, which I think they're finally doing, and looking at, whoa, wait a minute, there is more to life than just getting things done, putting a task list in front of me and Post-it notes everywhere and crossing it off. And by the end of the day, I fall into bed to repeat the same thing again and again and again, or listening to the externals. And that's what we've all been programmed to do, is once we were in our training years of school, we didn't question so much, which is no shame or blame, but we just listened to what was told to us around, this is the road to success. This is the road to success as a first grader. This is the road to success as a second grader, right? And we had our little books and we did them diligently, and there's no wrong or right. We learned a certain way of being. We learned a certain way of achieving. We learned a certain way of success. But what is it? What if that isn't the end all be all? What if there's more to that? And I think that's what people are questioning right now. Well, wait a minute. What I've been told my whole life, maybe I didn't stop to question it. And I thought it was going to give me the success I want. And I think we unconsciously, without questioning, thought success would mean fulfillment. And now people are like, wait a minute, I might have been successful. I might be even a CEO, but I'm not fulfilled. Or I might have been successful at least having enough money to provide for my family, have food on the table and a roof over my head, but I'm not fulfilled. Or whatever that is, right? So my want is to celebrate that we're having this awakening. It's perfect that this is happening for us. I'm not saying it's perfect that we're having COVID and that we're going into, by March, we're going to start going into another third year of repeating. No. But how can we make it for us? How can we milk this opportunity as something to enrich our lives, bring meaning to ourselves? How can we use it as an opportunity to reflect on who am I? Who am I called to be? Who am I becoming? Because I get to choose that.
Yeah.
Regardless of what COVID does or doesn't do, regardless of what social media says or doesn't say, regardless of whether we wear a mask or don't, I get to decide who I want to be each and every day and what aligns with my being. And that's what I'm excited about, is because people are starting to wake up to, I have a choice now. I have a choice. And let's use this as an opportunity versus the opposite of an opportunity. What's the opposite of an opportunity?
Let's be hopeful, not fearful.
Yeah, right? Let's be hopeful. Let's bring this as a decision making that will change our life, the way we live, and how we, first of all, relate to ourselves and how we relate to each other.
Yes.
We weren't given that opportunity, how we relate to ourselves and to each other. We weren't taught that. We weren't taught that. We were taught around what to do, and what to do brings success. But now we get to go inward. We get to come inward, and the inward is the transformation that happens. Yes. Transformation must happen with our head, our heart, and our gut. Our inner work now gets to be done. We've done our outer work. Many of us are so successful at whatever we're doing, but let's do the inner work of discovering the amazing you that wants to come out like a cocoon out of the butterfly, and let's fly beautifully. And I don't mean to be woo-woo, but it is the opportunity to, as we set goals for the new year, for our first quarter, as many of you might know, and Elizabeth knows, she's been on this journey with me, we're supporting leaders around how to set purpose-filled goals versus meaningless tasks.
Right.
And much of our life, right, we went to school, and some things we liked doing.
Yeah.
Some things we hated doing, and we had to do it anyway. Right.
PE.
Right. Like PE, and having to put on that crazy jumper, and it was like one suit with the zipper, and I was like, yuck.
Oh, no.
Or for me, it was math, and I could do basic math, but having to do trigonometry or geometry, I sucked at it, and I have a stomachache every time I went to class. You know, I did. I was like, I grumbled. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. It just made me sick because I didn't want to fail. I wanted to get the A, and how was I going to get the A? And so I pushed and I pushed. But isn't that how we live our work? We might not want to do something, but we push and we push in order to get the A, whatever that A is, enough money, or for our boss to give us the gold star, or to get a bonus, or to not lose our job. Right. So I love that we have the opportunity to go beyond this thinking, and our thinking, which we haven't really been taught in school or at work, our thinking brings about emotions. Mm-hmm. This is called the electrical current that the thoughts bring into our body actually create an electrical current in our whole body called emotion. Emotion is energy and motion. That's why we get sadness, anger, fear, joy, creative energy, we have a response to our thinker. Yes. And then we have a behavior that comes from that. Well, most of the time we have been unconscious and just doing what we're told. And the limiting thinker part of us, the amygdala part of our brain that wants to keep us safe and accepted by other people, has actually put us in a box. And that amygdala thinker, our stories that we believe, our thoughts that we believe without checking, is it true? Do I want to believe this? Is it serving me? Is now the perfect time to start questioning, what have I been telling myself that has gotten me this far, but it's no longer serving me, those thoughts, because it's making me sick. It's making me not have joy. It's making me not have peace. It's making me not feel aligned. So it's starting to notice, what am I telling myself? And could the opposite of my thought even be true? Could it be true for me? Could it even be truer? So I think it's a great time to start to look at, if I'm going to take radical responsibility to create the life I most want, to live the life I most want, and take responsibility for my results, not with blame or shame, but results as our teacher to how can I grow? How can I learn what does align with me? It's always our teacher and our learning. How can we just all make it our learning, and how is this perfect for us?
Right. Last year, it was spring and summer. The people who had quit their jobs was 4.4 million. As of November, just a few months ago, as 2021 came to a close, it was 6.9 million. So those numbers are at record highs, and they continue to go up. So with all these people just kind of quitting jobs, and now employers need people and they can't seem to get the right people. And so how can employers, what should employers be doing to create, let's talk about culture. Kind of what is it? How do we define it? How can companies become where talent runs to, as opposed to people departing?
Yeah, love that. So again, let's look at results we're getting. Like I just said, okay, without judgment, but for learning, how is it that we've created a culture of our United States of businesses overall, not every business, but a lot of businesses are losing their people. And that more than ever, people are leaving. So, oh, wow, how can we learn from this is what I'd say. So for your business, if you are struggling with finding talent, or you're noticing that people are leaving, can we just get curious? Can you just get curious? How is this for me? How is this for my growth as a leader? How is this for growth for my culture? What's working and what isn't working? What's serving me and my people, and what isn't serving me? What needs to be tweaked? Where is there any part of in the culture, where is there any blame or shame existing? Where is there drama existing? Where is there gossip existing? I would love everyone to have a look at really what is the state of their culture. And culture is just that. Is it a sense of, you can feel it when you walk in, or when you get on Zoom and your teammates are there and you're like, oh, or you don't want to look at someone on there because you feel a certain way, or you just keep quiet because you know it's not allowed to be said. You can't really be yourself. You can't really share what your thoughts are or your feelings are. Like, let's, without blame or shame, let's look at the culture. What's going on there, right? And it is kind of nebulous, like culture. However, culture is created, you ask, what is it? So culture is created by each individual being allowed to show up or not being allowed to show up, how they want to show, how someone's allowed to be showed up or not allowed to be showed up. What's the welcome of it? Is it a trusting, loving, embracing culture that everyone's allowed to become who they are and to learn and grow? Or is it a right, wrong culture? It's my way or the highway. This is right and this is wrong, and you better do this, and there's consequences if you don't, where you're walking a tightrope. And I have found in most cultures, most people don't want to admit this, it is a tightrope culture where people are afraid to express what they think and believe. And so the growth of the culture and company is stunted.
Yeah.
And usually I'm going to say this, and people are not going to be pleased, it always starts with the CEO and the executive team.
Yeah.
If they are not open and growing and learning for themselves, are they open and growing about their life, their business? Are they doing what they love? And are they welcoming others to that same space?
Yeah.
Or are they looking for, scanning for what's wrong and what was missed and how can you do this better? Now, there is a place for learning and growing, but it's, where are we doing it from? Are we doing it from curiosity, or are we doing it from blame and shame? Right. And I just don't want to blame it. If you are a culture like that, that is suffering and wouldn't say that you are a trusting, loving culture, great. Let's get after it. Because the reason it's like that is because most of us have learned to be winners, achievers, get the goal at all costs. If we don't get the goal, we can't fail. I'm that way. That's what I've learned. And that's what our culture of America is. Well, it only takes us so far, and then it's too much. People exhaust themselves, leaders exhaust themselves, their teams exhaust themselves, and then they're running on fumes, and then they don't want to go to work, and then they think it's somewhere else. It's another job, it's another position. It's never the answer. If we're looking for externals to fix us, or people to fix us, or a result or goal to fix us, it's not sustainable.
Right.
It will never end. So the work is, like I said earlier, to start, how am I showing up as a leader? How am I willing to listen to someone else who might have a different idea? Am I willing to hear what they have to say without judgment? Can I really just hear them and say, thank you?
Yeah.
Can I get curious because they have amazing insight that I don't have? They have a completely different mind. They have a completely different heart, a completely different desire. And can we trust that people, if they're at work, most of the time they're there because they want to succeed. It's not that like they're trying to do a poopy job.
Yeah.
They're trying to, they're not. But I think a lot of times people think, oh, well, they're just not doing a good job. No, people don't set out to do a bad job. That's not what they're setting out. They're setting out because they've got hope that maybe they can be a part of something and they can create something and that they can succeed. And so I think to switch the amygdala, because the amygdala automatically thinks negative, the amygdala automatically looks for and thinks negative about people and ourselves. That's not who we are. We got to catch ourselves, is to start to think, how could the opposite be true? How could my team be doing the best? How could they be in scarcity and fear, just like me? And they're trying to figure it out and they don't know. Right. So I want to say cultures are mostly based on scarcity. They're based on fear. They're based on toxic fear. And leaders hate to say that because they don't want to say I'm afraid, but I'm going to say we're all wired this way. We're all wired biologically, this is science now, to be driven by safety. Because if we're safe, then we're okay. But safety will never give us expansion. Safety will never give us the opposite of, or more than what we have now. But so we keep trying to get more than what we have. So we work harder, we work longer, we push harder, we push our team harder, but we're doing it from the same scarcity pool. And we never get we just tire ourselves. So guys, I just want to say, I want you to wake up to consciousness. I want you to wake up to your thinking, your feelings, your whole head, heart, and gut, not just from your head. If you study Dan Goleman out of Harvard on emotional intelligence, it is more important and more powerful than just your brain. It's get some tools. Reach out to me around, let's have a culture survey. Let's really look at, and it's scary, but let's really look at what's going on with your culture. And what are some of the steps, what are the baby steps we can start to shift and get curious on that might support growth, support people wanting to be there? How can you build a curious, loving, trusting culture, an authentic culture, instead of wearing this mask of I've got to be this person? And how can I be myself? And how can I welcome the other person as just being themselves? Right. And I just want to say one last thing before I waffle on, because I know you have more to say. We've had this time of a lot of combative stuff, guys, right? A lot of combat with politics, right? We all know with the election, who's going to be president, who's lying, where was whatever going
protesting, social activism.
Protesting, mental health. And then COVID hits. And if you live where I live in Nashville, we've had a tornado in the midst of it. And we've had fires and a snowstorm. We've had snowstorm, right? And everything comes to a halt when you live in the South. There's no snow movers. So
we don't do that very well.
We don't do that very well. So we've had lots of things going on outside of us, but I believe it's for a reason, because we're all ready to finally look at ourselves. Things happen for a reason so that we can grow. We can either push and resist and say, this isn't happening and I'm not doing it. And we dig our heels in and we suffer, right? This is what we do. This is the ego. No, I'm staying right here because the ego doesn't like change. Right. People don't like change because it's scary. Right. But change does not happen unless we stretch ourselves and step into the discomfort.
What is it? Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes, let's get uncomfortable being uncomfortable, and let's do it together. And when we source love and trust in that discomfort, the world's our oyster.
Yeah.
But when we resist and push and put people in a box, put the answers in a box, or right or wrong, this or that, you or you, no, not you, that's unconscious bias, right? That's my work, is getting conscious to our unconscious bias. That's how we create lack of diversity, is our conscious mind or unconscious mind. Well, let's get really curious and go for it this year. Hey, if you're listening and want to start learning how to build 90-day consecutive purpose-filled goals and learn how you keep yourself from fulfilling purpose-filled goals instead of meaningless tasks, reach out to me. We can do that at any time and do it on 90-day cycles and learn and grow along the way, or we can beat ourselves up. So I would say, first of all, we all have to learn to love ourselves right where we're at, give ourselves a little breath, because we've all been feeling anxious without the knowing of what's going to happen. Am I going to be healthy? Am I going to get sick? Are my people in my life going to get sick? Am I going to walk into a culture at work where people don't want to wear their masks and I'm going to be a threat of getting sick, or whatever is going on, guys?
Right.
Can you just say, yeah, we've been through a lot? Can you feel your feelings around it? That this has been scary for most of us. And there's this, I think, an overall arching heaviness that we've all been carrying in the world, not just in the US, but in the world. A lot of sadness, a lot of disappointment, a lot of like loss around, gosh, people not getting married when they wanted to, loss of people dying, dear friends, family members dying, loss of, if you got COVID, you might not be back to normal. You might have, like my neighbor, he has ringing ears that haven't gotten cleared, and that's been a year. We have had a lot of loss. So can we just feel that sadness and let it pass through instead of just carrying on? Let's acknowledge we've been sad and it's okay. And can we comfort each other and love each other so that we get beyond that? And that this too shall pass. And how can we use this time for what we do want to create to make that passing to be joyful with with ourselves and with each other?
Great.
Yeah.
Let's touch on, we have a few minutes left for one more topic today. I want you to explain to everybody, I love your AIM tool. So attention, internal dialogue, moving your body. I think those are great ways for people who are feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed, breathing, practicing their breathing. Just go over that briefly about how, if you're in those moments and it's feeling heavy to you, how they can sort of reach maybe a temporary, with practice, however they want to do it, but just how it can help them get through that.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I forgot about that. So I have a lot of tools and I forget which one sometimes to bring up. So I'm thankful that my dear partner Elizabeth is bringing that up. So AIM is just a short acronym for attention, paying attention, being present, noticing where you're at, noticing, am I in the future or am I in the past? Most of the time we're not in the present. We're in the future looking at what might happen, and the brain can't know, so it gets scared and then it makes up all these stories of like, watch out for this, watch out the rest. Okay, just notice. Or it's stuck in the past and it's sad or blaming or resentful, like, gosh, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have done this. Why didn't I do that? Right? We do that all the time. So just notice. And can you let the future go? And can you let the past go just in this now moment? And if I were to come into this present moment, can I make an attention? Can I make a choice to pay attention to being here now with my body, with my breath, with my heart beating, with how even my clothes feel on my body? Just, can I pay attention to what's here right now? Can I pay attention that there's sun coming through this glass and that there's green all around me? Can I pay attention that there's a beautiful person on the other side of the screen right now? What I focus on is so important in this now moment. And to get to the now moment, I always say your breath always is present. Your lungs are always for you and serving you. You don't have to say, hey, brain, tell the lungs to operate. No, your breath is always supporting you. It's your life support. So my toss to you is make it a practice, especially when you're not triggered, 3 times a day. for the rest of this quarter, 3 times a day, when you get up, before you go to bed, and maybe at lunchtime, can I pause to be present to what am I thinking? How am I feeling? Can I come into my breath and breathe a deep breath, starting way deep down from your belly, almost to your sacrum, where you're sitting way deep down, and start to fill in so your belly puffs out. So you breathe in. Will you do it with me, Elizabeth? Let's breathe in right now. And as you're breathing, you can feel the air coming through your lungs, through your chest, and actually up through your nose. You can feel the air, and it's actually oxygenating your mind, your brain, and then releasing all the way out, even slower than your inhale. And let's do that again, breathing in from your belly, expanding, I say like a little puffer fish, expanding your lungs, because your lungs are really from your base of your spine, pretty much all the way to your shoulders. That's how big your lungs are. So filling all the way up and releasing all the way out, blowing your shoulders.
Really does feel good.
Yeah, it does. Letting go of what no longer serves you as you exhale. And breathing in one more time, breathing in, what do you want to tell yourself? What do you want to believe about who you are? Breathing that in. And releasing what no longer serves you.
Awesome.
And I just want to say, the reason we do the breathing and why it's so impactful, it changes moving the cortisol that you build up when you're reactive to the future or the past. It actually releases the cortisol buildup in your adrenals. And when we have adrenaline running us, when we're scared, when we're angry, right? You can feel it. There's this, and that's our adrenals are getting run by our cortisol. Mm-hmm. And when we're running in that state, we can't think with many opportunities or options. We are focused on one or two things, and they're safety decisions. So actually, when we breathe like that, it allows our muscles to relax, our lungs to be filled, and then our brain to be completely oxygenated, so we're clear to more opportunity. Then after we move from attention, we move to I, which is our internal dialogue. We have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Do you know what you just thought the last moment? Probably not. What happens is we've developed a pattern in our life that with all these thoughts coming, we don't go searching for them. They just pop in our head. We latch on to a thought, and then we go ahead and believe it. And then when we believe it, we behave around it, and we don't even realize we're doing it. And we become on autopilot, and we become reactive. This is where reactivity comes from, reactive to our thinking. And again, because we're wired for negativity, negative bias, we're going to have most likely a thought that wasn't serving us well. It's popping back in from yesterday, and we're repeating it again. It's a negative thought. Yeah. So to notice our internal dialogue, and can that internal dialogue be let go? And not only let go, but can I replace it with a thought I do want to believe about myself or the situation or the person? And I always say, how could the opposite of the thought that was causing you stress and drama, how could the opposite of that thought be even as true or even truer? Because then it gets you into curiosity and many possibilities. And thirdly, before we hang up, is movement. We sit a lot, especially now we're on Zoom. We don't even get up and go to the train to go to work, or we sit so much. Our body has intelligence as well. If you're curious around biology, I would read about body intelligence. So getting out and just moving your body, getting up out of your chair, going for a walk outside to get fresh air, going to a different room. If you're triggered and feeling stuck, get out of the room you're sitting in, go get a drink of water, have a cup of tea. Moving your body actually gets it in flow instead of being stationary. And you can actually figuratively think about this. If you're stationary, you have usually stationary thoughts. Right? So like moving yourself and experiencing, can I look at the beauty of nature around me? And can I get outside and take a fresh breath of air? Can I feel how that lands in my body? So movement is huge for us in that. So AIM, attention, internal dialogue, and movement of your body. So I just want to thank you all for being here and
Yay.
being on this journey of the great resignation, and how do we become a culture that people want to run to us, talent wants to run to us. And leaders are so key in doing that, in being the change agent and becoming who they're called to be in order to do what they're doing, lit up with joy, curiosity, passion, love to themselves in the world. How do we become those people in order to bring in the culture we most want? That's what we're here.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth and I are here for. So we can support you. Have any questions, reach out to us, get on a 15-minute call, reach out to me at Deborah@sunderlandcoaching.com. Send me an email. Let's get on a 15-minute call. Let's look at what's going on for you and how can you grow as a leader? How can you grow your team and have more fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.